On this day, we paying homage to Frederick Douglass. He died right here in D.C., in Southeast, I might add. He was asked to speak on July 4th, 1852. The poem, I'm a poet. The speech is entitled, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July." Fellow citizens, pardon me. Allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I therefore called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? Would to God, both for your sake and ours, that an affirmative answer could be truthfully rendered to these questions. I herein would ask but light, my burden easy and delightful, for who is there so cold that a nation's sympathy could not warm him? Who so obdurate and dead to the claims of gratitude that would not thankfully acknowledge such priceless benefits? Who so stolen and selfish that would not give his voice to swell the hallelujahs of a national jubilee? When the chains of servitude have been torn from his limbs, I am not that man. In a case like the dumb might eloquently speak and the lame man leap as an hart. But such is not the state of the case. I say it with a side sense of disparity between us. I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought light and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak here today? If so, there is a parallel to your conduct. And let me warn that it's dangerous to copy the example of nations whose crimes, towering up to the heaven, were thrown down to the breath of the Almighty, burying that nation in irrevocable ruin. I can today take up the plaintive lament of peeled and woe-mitten people. By the rivers of Babylon, they were sat down. Yeah, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they carried us away captive, required us a song, and thou who wasted our required mirth, saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion. How can we sing the Lord's song in such a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If you do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. Fellow citizens, above your national tumultuous joy, I hear the mournful wail of millions whose chains, heavy and grievous, yesterday are today rendered more intolerable than the jubilee shouts that reached them. If I do not faithfully remember those bleeding children of sorrow this day, may my right hand cleave to the roof of my mouth. To forget them, to pass lightly over their wrongs, and to chime in with the powerful thing would be treason most scandalous and shocking, and would make me reproach before God and the world. My subject then, fellow citizens, is American slavery. I I shall see this day, and its popular characteristics from the slave's point of view, standing there identified with the American bondman, making his wrongs mine. I do not hesitate to declare with all my soul that the character and conduct of this nation never looked blacker to me than on this 4th of July. Whether we turn to the decorations of the past or the professions of the present, the conduct of the nation seems equally hideous and revolting. America is false to the past, false to the present, and solemnly binds herself to be false to the future. Standing with God and the crushed and bleeding slave on this occasion, I will, in the name of humanity, which is outraged, in the name of liberty, which is fettered, in the name of the Constitution and the Bible, which are disregarded and trampled upon, dare to call into question and to denounce with all the emphasis I can command everything that serves to perpetuate slavery, the greatest sin and shame of America. I will not equivocate. I will not excuse. I will use the severest language I can command, and yet not one word shall escape me that any man whose judgment is not blinded by prejudice shall not confess to be right and just. For the present is enough to affirm the equal manhood of the Negro race. Is it not as astonishing that while we are plowing, planting, and reaping, using all kinds of mechanical tools, erecting houses, constructing bridges, building ships, working in metals of brass, iron, copper, and secretaries, having among us lawyers, doctors, ministers, poets, authors, editors, orators, and teachers, and that while we engage in all manner of enterprises common to other men, digging gold in California, capturing the whale in the Pacific, feeding sheep and cattle on the hillside, living, moving, acting, thinking, planning, living in families as husbands, wives, and children, and above all, confessing and worshiping the Christian's God, and looking hopefully for the life and immortality beyond the grave. We are called upon to prove that we are men. What am I to argue that it is wrong to make men brutes, to rob them of their liberty, to work them without wages, to keep them ignorant of their relations to their fellow men, to beat them with sticks, to flay their flesh with the lash, to lower their limbs with iron, to hunt them down with dogs, to sell them at auctions, to sunder their families, to knock out their teeth, to burn their flesh, to starve them to obedience and submission to their masters, as the good book says? Must I argue that a system thus marked with blood and stained with pollution is wrong? No, I will not. I have better employment for my time and strength than such arguments will imply. I ask you, what to the American slave is your 4th of July? What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days in the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty an unholy license, your national greatness swelling vanity, your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless, your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence, your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes which would disgrace a nation of savages. There is not a nation on earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of the United States at this very hour. Go where you may, search where you will, roam through all the monarchies and despotisms of the old world, travel through South America, search out every abuse, and when you have found the last, lay your facts by the side of the everyday practices of this nation, and you will say with me that for revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy, America reigns without rival. Ladies and gentlemen, happy 4th of July. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands for the lovely ladies who have volunteered and took the time.